It took everything in me not to laugh during this whole entire segment. I mean, it is really, really quirky, I know, but hilarious. And I hope you enjoy my themes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always theming it out. Like, if you pay attention to my videos, I'm always wearing something that correlates to the message. So pay attention, okay? I'm very intentional in the things that I do. And today I have on my commander suit, okay? I'm in the space mission. It's Mission Gate Bliss. Get on board. Get in line. Tidy up your ship. It's time for takeoff. We out. This is your captain speaking. Inanna, the Venus alien. And I have been channeling 17 days of no self, going into deep meditation to give you the answers from my highest self on self mastery. Today is day 13. If you have been following along, yesterday we finally received our mission, and that is Mission Blissgate. This was a diagram that I channeled by going into a short meditation, just seeing what would drop into my consciousness immediately. And the first words I heard were container, and then I also heard spaceship procedures or spaceship rules. And I started to think, what is the spaceship? Well, I have been teaching all along that the light body is the spaceship. What I find interesting about this 17-day journey is that the framework of what I have previously been teaching has not changed at all. In regards to the reset and the solar flash and the birth of the man child and where we're headed with that, that has been the central focus of my ministry or my teachings here. And in regards to the light body and the way that the earth is structured, we're talking about everyone individually being outlines of the photon light of the sun. So you're talking about a judgment or a gate or a place that we're all heading, which is a reset. And in order for us to be an energetic match for the sun's frequency, vibrating higher, meaning that we go through the heart chakra gate of love and we raise our vibration and frequency through confession and forgiveness, as well as realigning the vibration of the body's energy centers. So I finally think I realized exactly what's happening on these 17 days that I decided to go into unbeknownst to me, which is I've been teaching the entire time that this particular event was coming, but I wasn't necessarily touching on every single portion of what it is that you need to do in order for you to ready yourself. And this has been a continuous rollout of this particular point that we are at now, which is about self-mastery, which is about mastering the elements, as we touched on. Day one was about the gate of bliss and what is our purpose of being in earth school. Then we went into mastering the four elements and how that relates to the body and everything as a mirror for you to learn something from, using plants as an example. And then I went into showing you how to do a diagram on paper that's like a prayer diagram, that's a numerical diagram that teaches you that numbers, energy, frequency, and light can be bent on paper as well. We learn this by building a prayer altar, and that there are other ways to do things other than speaking. You can use numerical values or numbers in order for you to get your point across to the higher source or the source of all things, right? Because we're talking about sorcery, source alterations, and source code, which is numerology. On a quantum level, everything is frequency and light and wavelength. So we're talking about angles of light and numerical values. That's it. That's all. And all of us are light. We are all a part of the light. And this entire journey has been teaching us that we need to learn how to master our own light vehicles. We also touched on vocal journaling, as well as overconsumption, respect for the mirror, respect for the earth, respect for the things that you see and the things that are you, because we are all one energy. And then I decoded the Ark of the Covenant as a representation of the body, meaning that you and your flesh body is the ark itself, and the covenant is the rainbow, which is the light body or the photon light body, which led me to the fact that the entire purpose of us being in earth school is to have the 7 energy centers of the body plus 1, which is the flesh, which is your 7.1 system, overcoming the flesh in order for you to reach level 9. I then created the framework of 2 iPads that mimic Moses tablets that give you the governance or the command prompts of the light body so that you can upgrade your OS or internal operating system software and the rules and format for that, as mirrored with the Ark of the Covenant being you. Then I received the download about 1 day at a time and how to be present, how it's a math equation, and we broke all of that down. And now we are on to the spaceship and the schematics and the operations of your actual light body. During this meditation, I also saw a Merkaba. And I have been speaking about the Merkaba on this page briefly, but basically it is a mer, which is a merging of the ka and the ba. And the ka is a representation of the spirit or breath, or pneuma is talking about the physical body or the physical emanation of your existence. And the ba is the photon light body or the soul. So your Merkaba is a full embodiment of both all of these elements. And we are talking about self-mastery, which is understanding how to upgrade your system to the 8.0 version by overcoming the flesh body, which is the one, and the light body governing light centers, and understanding how to master those centers, or the seven centers of the seven chakras, and then getting to the 8 version so you can be ready for level 9, which is what I have been teaching. And yesterday, the spaceship schematics is what came through Ezekiel's wheel. Naturally, when looking at the Merkaba, I started to think about Ezekiel's will because it's often associated with that. However, when I looked at the diagrams for what that actually looks like and what it's demonstrated as, normally with Kabbalah, it did not resonate with me because there are certain things that are being described as far as like a fire and clouds and 4 beasts and a wheel within the wheel. And to me, wheels are round. So I'm like, this particular shape that they're using is 2, upside down triangles, pyramids that mimic the Star of David or whatever the case may be, does not seem entirely accurate to me. So I went into a deep dive in order to determine what exactly this looks like. And what I came out with is a rhombic dodecahedron. I wish I could take credit for the rhombic shape, but I can't. It came from one of my highest spirit guides. Okay. That's all you need to know. And when I looked at the shape, I was like, oh, yeah, this is exactly what I saw. And in terms of just the construction of that particular geometry of that shape, it has all of the elements that match exactly to Ezekiel's wheel. And we're talking about the auric field, which would be the natural spaceship that would float you. And we're talking about your light energy and how it exists and how it's constructed. That would be the mechanisms of the actual ship that is you. We talk about aliens and things coming from outer space, but as I teach on this channel, we are in a closed system. So everything that you're dealing with in the alien is going to be you. If you have a soul, if you have a photon light body, you are indeed the alien. And it's all about how we're navigating this space. Everything in existence focus on making you believe that there's all this nebulous and wide, vast array of outer space, and thinking that something's going to come in and rescue you, and something's always coming to rescue you. But what I'm teaching on this channel is that it's not about something coming in to rescue you. It's about you. You are a mirror of everything. You are the light. Where we are headed is the light kingdom, and it's all about self-mastery of your light body. That is the key. It's not about you looking outside of yourself. The key is going to be you going within and understanding how you operate at a core level. You are the avatar, you are the alien, the spaceship, and your auric field is your light body. And in order to get to the gate of bliss, or the paradise as spoken of, you're going to have to learn how to master all of those key elements within your light body and within your flesh body, basically. So this is the framework that I've been given. Even though it's a little quirky in a sense, how it's being laid out, it's very succinct. As I stated before, I look at words in a biblical sense as a codex or a grimoire, or having keys in anagram form sometimes. So looking at the word Ezekiel, what stood out to me was the word Kiel, which is keels. And that is a system of measurement, actually scientifically, that can be used to apply to this auric light body ship that we have. So I translated all of those different mechanisms into how a floating light auric field light body would work. And this is what I came out with. So the is basically the easy energy, and the keels is the system of measurement that govern the light body, that cause it to float, that cause it to have its rotational arc and being able to sit within this chariot. Looking at the word chariot, what stood out to me was the fact that the word chair was included. And then I pulled out the OT, and O is the 15th letter and T is the 20th letter. So that gives you 1520. And again, there's our 152, which is our 7.1 model. Okay. And then you have a 0. And I'm looking at that 0 as the auric field itself, or the circular energy. It could be the Earth, spaceship, or mothership. And the T would actually go inside that upside down, which would give you the shape of the rhombic dodecahedron. Okay. So we're talking about a light energy vehicle that is your chair. And this particular energy basically kind of goes within, and it creates a seat for you to be able to sit on based on its energetic shape, or the frequency that it holds, once your light body is fully aligned. When you visualize this auric field or this spaceship, you're thinking about it in regards to your body and how you are shaped, right? So this particular auric field or this ship or this energy ship is powered by the root. And that root is what creates the seat, is what creates this rhombic shape that allows you to be nestled in the energy, so that once we have this solar reset and everything is ignited in the light, you are then igniting your full light body or your ship, and this shape will be your containment of travel and your spaceship basically that you move around and navigate in. The four beasts would be the four directions or the four energetic directional aspects of this particular ship and how you rotate, okay? Think about it being energy in all directions. It's not just a one-dimensional model of the auric field. We have energy that is circling all around us. Revelation 22:14 that mentions the tree of life, the gate of bliss, and following the commandments is talking about, again, the command prompts of the light body, which I have covered. It's talking about access to the tree of life, which is in the midst of the garden or the center, which I will get to. And it's also talking about the paradise, okay? So we're talking about getting to the gate of bliss, and the only way to do that is through self-mastery. And this is the schematics of the light body. There's also talk about what can't enter into this paradise basically in that same scripture. And I went and broke down all the etymologies and the possible potential meanings for these particular words, because it talked about dogs, and there's no disrespect to dogs. And, we love dogs. I love dogs. However, I think what it was more so a translation of is people who don't have their own sovereignty, meaning that they look to others to feed them. They take what is left over, the scraps from their master's table. So I consider the word dogs, whoremongers, sorcerers, idolaters, and liars to be an extension of the command prompts of the light body as far as behavioral aspects that certain people embody, and things that just will not be an energetic match for the sun's frequency and will not allow you access into the gate of bliss if you adhere to these particular types of things. So when you talk about whoremongers, you're talking about people who are willing to do anything for stimulation. They're willing to sell themselves out, their very essence, in order for them to be stimulated and have excess of everything. They are hoarders, basically, of energy, and they are willing to sacrifice themselves for the excess of having everything in a form of greed. These are your energy traffickers. Sorcerers are a big part of what I do on this channel. I literally am decoding bad source code here through numerology, through tracking numbers, to determine who are the abusers of the source code. And there are massive amounts of source code alterations from the core vibrational numbers that should exist to bad numbers, as I call them. And this is a big part of understanding what you should and should not be doing. Like when I laid out the prayer board that you can create, I also gave the ground rules that you should do unto others as you would have them do unto you, as well as only focus on yourself and not infringe on the free will of others. People who are sorcerers and who manipulate code for their own well-being do not care about these rules. They are more into the do as thou wilt, and they literally will do anything to manipulate the code. Then you have your unalivers, which are your life force destroyers. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going out here and you're committing the M word and taking somebody out. You could be on the back end, generating a policy or doing something that inadvertently affects everyone else that causes them to be unalived, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a serial, whatter. It could be someone who creates a problem that in essence destroys people in the long term. And that could even be down to the food that we eat. That can be down to the air that we breathe. That can be down to the policies that inhibit us from receiving proper care or health care. This could branch into many aspects, but we're talking about a governing system with all of these different things that commits unaliving on a massive scale. Those things are an extreme no-no when we're talking about entering to the gate of bliss. You also have your idolaters, and these are people who give validation and they give all of their power away to things outside of themselves, not realizing that the power exists within them, that they have their own purpose and their own gifts that they need to be exploiting versus worshiping and pedestalizing people, places, and things, okay? And we see this in the modern day a lot, especially when it comes to celebrities and all these different people that we look to outside of ourselves. And we've come to a point in time where a lot of these illusions are beginning to fall. So the idolatry level of thinking should be over with at this point, because you're starting to realize that people are fallible, and there's really no reason why you should be placing your power, your trust, your hope into anyone else other than yourself in the Most High. So this is a big no-no when it comes to access to the gate of bliss. You must be more into yourself and self-mastery than you are giving away your power to things outside of yourself. Controversially, a lot of my abacus audit and the light audit numbers that I have been doing have been centering around people on the world stage. And these people actually have hives, okay? And a lot of people worship these particular people, meaning that if you come out and you say anything altered to them, I've had people say, oh, be careful who you're talking about. Like, I don't need to be careful. I am my own authority. I am a sovereign light being. I could care less about any celebrity that's threatening my well-being because I put out a light code about them, okay? This is what you call the swarm mentality or the group hive think, okay? And a lot of the idolatry that goes on in this world stage, in this particular world, you will have people fighting for the death in the comment section over a celebrity that they've never met, they don't know, they haven't slept with, they're not in the bed with, they don't know what they're doing on a regular basis, and they will defend them blindly. This is an extreme no-no if you're planning to get into the gate of bliss or the paradise. Last but not least, it talks about liars. And liars are people who create false narratives. They invent things out of nowhere. They bend the truth in order to benefit themselves. And you have a lot of people that do so willingly. Like, I'm the type of person that I'm going to tell the truth no matter what. I'm never going to lie to myself either. So when you talk about liars, you're talking about people who are willfully deceitful, who come and say something to you, but they mean something totally different, okay? If you have these attributes, as far as you just being unsovereign, you being an idolater where you worship things outside of yourself, you being an unaliver, okay? These are the things that will not allow you access into the gates because they are personality attributes. I also diagrammed and showed how the kingdom of light or the gate of bliss is a representation of Sirius AB, the dog star. And I likened it to Sirius AB because we're talking about the dog days of summer, and we're talking about summer, which is the light or the photon light energy. So the destination is the light, and I likened that to Sirius AB, which is the star mapping. It's where the point of totality meets between the two eclipses, okay? X marks the spot. And you're talking about the location by which all souls derive, which is the light or the photon light energy of the sun or the summer or summerland. As I teach on this channel, the kingdom of God is within you. And we're talking about a kingdom of photon light. Everything is frequency and light. Everything is light angles, and light angles are degrees, and degrees can be measured numerically. So the entire crux of my teachings is based on numerology and how that shapes the reality or bends the light or the REM of the waking dream, because life is but a dream, okay? In this entire series of 17 days has been how to navigate this system so that when we get to the level 9 event, which is a judgment of the flesh 1 and the soul light body 7, you will be a 8, basically having the 8 software with your ship at high vibration so that you can be an energetic match for the sun by going through the heart chakra of love, which is where Ma is at, or Mayat. Now, yesterday, I mapped out the ship and gave you all of the procedures for the ship in the operational manual in order for you to understand how to navigate your own spaceship. So you can't say I didn't give you the direction. So that is totally up to you on this mission to Blissgate. The next thing that I received today was the actual map, okay, scripturally, and how we're going to navigate through Deep Space 9 or this level 9 reset. And this was in regards to the 7 churches, okay? I received a download that this is a light diagram basically of the 7 Olympian spirits, talking about the governing light principles of the moon machine, as I teach on this channel, and how we're going to navigate the zodiac in self-mastery. So as your captain, it's time for me to log off so I can get back to work, so I can draw up this map so we can have the full schematics on how to navigate this system. This is your captain, Inanna, the Venus alien, signing off. It's time for us to tidy our ships and prepare for takeoff. And I hope you enjoyed this transmission. Please like, share, and subscribe, and put a comment down in the comments just to let me know what you think of this content overall. Keep shining bright. Peace, love, and light.